Face the center. Gata on opening the sutra. The Dharma incomparably profound and infinitely subtle is rarely encountered even in millions of ages. Now we see it, hear it, receive and maintain it. May we completely realize the Tathagata's true meaning.
Okay, good evening. Thank you all so much for being here. Welcome to 2023. We had actually a pretty large, substantial morning practice the other day. And it's looking like people are keeping their New Year's resolutions tonight as well. Thank you. So we are venturing forth in the new year, continuing on with our investigation into the gateless gate, or the gateless barrier. We're on case 5. Xiang Yan's up a tree. The case. Priest Xiang Yan said, "It's as though you were up in a tree, hanging from a branch with your teeth. Your hands and feet can't touch any branch. Someone appears beneath the tree and asks, 'What is the meaning of Bodhidharmas coming from the West?' If you do not answer, you evade your responsibility. If you do answer, you lose your life. What do you do?" This is one of those really juicy koans. It's called a predicament koan. Woman's comment. Even if your eloquence flows like a river, it is all in vain. Even if you can expound cogently upon the whole body of Buddhist literature, that too is useless. If you can respond to this dilemma properly, you give life to those who have been dead and kill those who have been alive. If you can't respond, you must wait and ask Maitreya about it. And Maitreya will be around in like a couple of trillion years, according to Buddhist lore. Wuman's verse. Xiang Yan is just babbling nonsense, but his poisonous intentions are limitless. He stops up the monks' mouths and makes his whole body a demon eye. So, the thing about Zen is, a lot of times we're really far away from the land of like angels and harps and just nice heavenly bliss realms. There's something about Zen that's so earthy and so kind of I guess like kind of realistic in a way. Like, I am of the nature to grow old. I am of the nature to have ill health. I am of the nature to die. Everyone I love and everything I love, I will be separated from. So now what? So this koan is very much in the vein of that tradition of like, in the first koan, remember about the dog. Does the dog have Buddha nature? Well, one answer is no. The other answer is yes. And there's a Zen master who commented on that and said, the dog knew what they were doing when they jumped into the skin bag to dog. So the dog knew what they were doing when they jumped into the skin bag to dog. So in a similar vein, we could say, we all knew what we were doing when we jumped into the human skin bag to human. Right? Let's just say that once more, just for clarity. Just in case you have any doubts. We all knew what we were doing when we jumped into this human skin bag to human. In other words, we knew exactly what we were getting into, and we knew our ass was going to be up the tree. Right? Pretty much. And, this is about situations that are completely impossible. And how many times a day are we confronted with an almost impossible situation? A lot. I mean, and if you happen to go through a day that's kind of smooth, just turn on the news, right? And you'll get a little taste of everyone else's impossible situation. So this is a very live question. It's as though you were up in a tree, hanging from a branch with your teeth. Right. So remember, with a koan, you have to really enter into the dreamscape of it. It's like art. It's like performance art, or any kind of 3D art. I guess there was something, I never got to it, but I guess at the Toledo Museum of Art, there was this Japanese woman that did a whole room of mirrors and lights. I didn't see it. I really missed out. I know I did. But that's what the koan is. You enter into the room of the koan. And some people think, oh, koans are just like Zen riddles, that if you're smart enough, you can figure them out, right? And this particular koan was given by a Zen master who was like super, super smart and really had to struggle with his intellect that kept on imposing itself on this sort of natural, total, absolute trust and reliance on Buddha nature, on our Buddha nature, regardless of the situation that we're in. To the point where his teacher asked him, "What is your face before your parents were born?" And he was like, I don't know, right? And he went back to his notes from all of his old teachers in all of his old books to try and find the answer to that question. And did he find the answer to that question in his books? No. So he was sort of brave enough and courageous enough and honest enough to say, okay, this is not working. Whatever I've been doing so far is just not happening for me. It is not to say that the intellect is horrible, bad, but there's other ways of being and knowing that the intellect needs to be integrated into. So he really wanted to know what that other way was, right? So he said, okay, that's it. I'm going to take a job in a cemetery, and I'm just going to rake the leaves in the cemetery. And you know those guys that work in the cemetery, right? They're digging the graves, they're raking the leaves, they're tending all the flowers. You always see them when you're going to a funeral, like when you go to the gravesite. So that was his job. And for years and years, he just did that. But he was still working on this koan. What is my face before my parents were born? And of course, he's burying body after body after body, right? Daily, he's confronted with death. Eventually, one day he was raking the leaves and he raked up a pebble and it hit a piece of bamboo and it went thwack. And it was like, oh, he had an opening with the thwack. And he went back to his teacher, and there's a whole big story about all these different poems that he presented the teacher, and the teacher was like, okay, it's pretty good, but give me another one. And if you've ever been in the Dokusan room and you give an answer, I think you've heard, that was okay, but how about this? Give me another way to look at it, another way. So, because we're checking, right? Keep checking. So he got checked, and there's other parts of that story, but I want to stay focused on the case. The reason why this case was so close to his heart is because he's really presenting us with this room, this situation, where we can't use our intellect to answer the question, because we're up a tree, right? We're hanging from a branch, right? And not only that, but your hands and your feet can't touch any branch. So you're really screwed, right? I mean, even before somebody comes underneath you and says, hey, I heard you were a Buddhist practitioner. If you can't answer the question now, when are you going to answer it? Because really, you're in a predicament. What good's that Buddhist practice now? Let's see what you got. So the person comes under there and says, hey, what's the meaning of Bodhidharmas coming from the West? So, it's basically, show me your enlightenment. What's the whole point of your sitting on that cushion hour after hour after hour? Right? There you are. Oh, God. If you don't answer, you evade your responsibility. And of course, evading your responsibility as a Buddhist practitioner is evading your bodhisattva vow to free all beings and to awaken all beings, right? So this is like no small thing. This is like, we say this every day, and we make this vow every day. So if you don't respond to this person, what was the point of even taking the vow, right? If you do answer, your life is lost. Well, now if your life is lost, you're screwed because you killed yourself and you violated the precepts. What do you do? So, what do you do when you're in that impossible situation, right? How is this an expression of Buddha nature? Right? That's the question. How is the impossible situation that I'm in right now an expression of Buddha nature? And working through this koan is getting really comfortable and intimate with being in really crappy situations and not losing touch with unconditional love and compassion and wisdom and our awakening, not losing touch with our awakening, being able to express our awakening regardless of the situation. It's easy when, it's all love and light, we're having a good time, and we're eating some nice pasta, we're having a nice salad with a kosher dressing and that homemade bread, and everybody's being so nice to each other. Right? That's true. But what about the other situations? What is the meaning of Bodhidharma coming from the West in those really crappy situations, in those impossible situations? And if we can't answer it in that, then kind of why bother? Right? Honestly. Because remember that first noble truth. Life is suffering. That doesn't go away, right? It's not like you work through the first one and you've mastered it and now that never shows up again, right? Yeah, I know. Can you believe it? Why isn't this like logical and linear? What the heck? So we're always in the midst of ourselves, people we love, people we don't love, people we know, people we don't know, up a tree, hanging on for dear life, being asked the impossible. So Mumon's comment, even if your eloquence flows like a river, it's all in vain. So here, Wumon is really leaning into this really just such a unique aspect of Zen training where We love our words. We use, there's tons of books. We're giving talks all the time. But we're working through the body. We're practicing with the body and with the moment that the body is in that goes beyond, I guess, or I don't even know how to say it, is beyond eloquence, I guess would be the best way to say it. I mean, honestly, even the best book you've ever read, or God forbid, the best book you've ever written, or the best poem you've ever read, or the best poem you've ever written, it's like, do you even remember those beautiful words you said, like yesterday? No. Can you remember like snippets of cool poems and books that you've read? Yeah. Okay. But what about this moment up the tree? All those words so many years ago, so many days ago, even minutes ago, useless, because you're in this moment now. So it's all in vain, says Wumon. Even if your eloquence flows like a river, it's all in vain. Sobering. But you have to, as modern Zen Buddhist practitioners, we have to be very mature about this kind of language and this kind of way of working, because it's not saying, just be totally anti-intellectual. Stop, thinking rationally about things. So it's an interesting tightrope that we walk. Even if you can expound cogently upon the whole body of Buddhist literature, this too is useless. There's one Zen master who was a scholar of the Diamond Sutra. And he met a lady that was selling tea cakes as he was going to find this Zen master to give him hell because the Zen master didn't know what he was talking about. And the tea cake lady said, well, I'll show you where the Zen master is and I'll give you your tea cakes, but first answer me a question. With what mind will you take this tea cake? Because it is said in the Diamond Sutra, present mind is unattainable, past mind is unattainable, future mind is unattainable. And of course, the guy went, oh, I guess I'm not going to get fed tonight. He went on to study with the Zen master that he was going to castigate and became his student. And eventually he had an awakening experience, and he said something like, all of my knowledge is like a hair floating in vast space. Okay, so if you can respond to this dilemma properly, you give life to those who have been dead. All of the ghostly clingings of not being able to totally just be the awakened person clinging to that branch and responding correctly and appropriately to the person asking for guidance and clarity and clarification. And kill those who have been alive. I like the life part usually, and then the kill part always feels like a kind of a bummer to me. But like that quote, if you you see the Buddha, kill the Buddha. I really don't. Every time I read that, I'm like, oh, I wish we could just scratch that from the lexicon. But we can't. So one has to interpret these things. Oh, there's a whole gaggle out there. Come forth, my little chickens. All right, have a seat. Okay, so I think for our purposes, we can say see through the things that get in the obstruct our awakening, that think they're true and real, and they are not. So we're going to, quote, kill those. But I'd like to find a softer, gentler way of saying that. We're just going to dissolve them into the emptiness like the Wicked Witch of the East. I'm melting, I'm melting. All right. So if you can't respond, you must wait and ask Maitreya about it. So if you can't actually respond to the person who's asking you what is the meaning of awakening, what is the meaning of your practice, what is the meaning of your life and my life, what's going on here, if you can't respond with authentic, alive, true expression, then you have to wait until Maitreya comes around, and Maitreya is supposedly going to be able to bring everyone to enlightenment, snap, bang, boom. But you got to wait a trillion years. So I don't think that's going to happen for any of us right now. All right. Well, we're getting close to the time that we have to stop, so I think this is a natural place to stop, because we'll work on the verse next Wednesday. Okay, let's read the case one more time together. The priest Xiang Yan said, "It is though you were up in a tree, hanging from a branch with your teeth. Your hands and feet can't touch any branch. Someone appears beneath the tree and asks, 'What is the meaning of Bodhidharma's coming from the West? What is the meaning of awakening? What is awakening?' If you do not answer, you evade your responsibility, your bodhisattva vow. If you do answer, you lose your life and violate the precepts of killing. What do you do?" I leave you with, what do you do?
Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. That concludes the evening. Thanks for coming to the Buddhist Temple of Toledo. Anybody have any announcements? Going once? Going twice? No announcements. Please restore. You have one?
I have a question.
A question?
Yeah. What time of the morning is ceremonies?
Say your question again.
Sure.
We want everyone.
What time are the morning ceremonies?
7 a.m.
It's Tuesday through Friday.
Please. Just,
The Han starts at 6:50.
Okay.
yeah, it's a good time. Please restore the Zendo.